Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, good morning. Today is Monday. I am having a very slow start today. I didn't get to bed till about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then obviously I woke up at like 5:30 this morning to get ready for work, and I'm still running late. Um, But I wanted to talk about whether or not, a woman being independent was a masculine trait, and it is, right? But I don't know that people really understand um, that both men and women have both masculine and feminine traits, right? We have both masculine and feminine energy. And I would say that it's all about balance, right? Again, we talk about life and how life is about balance, and it's being able to balance between the two, right? It's not about being a woman, is not about necessarily getting rid of all masculine traits. It's about finding a balance between the two. Um, and I want to be very clear. To be independent means to not to be separate from like control, not having to answer to authority, being self-sufficient. And these are things, to be honest with you, that all adults should be kind of striving for. Okay. And when I mean not to be controlled. Children are controlled to some degree. Adults should not be being controlled. Okay, and I understand that there's different echelons and tiers of control, right? So I understand that. But the reality is, when you are a grown ass adult, okay, you should be essentially in control of self. You should essentially be independent, right? Because the opposite of independent is to be dependent. The only people in this world that should be dependent are people that really can't do for self, right? They have a disability or something of like that, or kids. So I guess I don't know, when women are sitting there talking about, well, I hate being independent and being independent is just so hard. Well, it's hard if you're struggling. It's hard if you're only making minimum wage and you're barely getting by. Like, that part is hard, right? When you barely have food in your fridge, right? And you can barely afford your rent, stuff like that. That is hard. I get it. That's difficult. But independence in itself is not difficult if you're doing it right and correctly. I love the freedom I have as an independent woman, right? You're not going to really hear me say too much, I'm an independent woman, and because my actions speak louder than my voice, right? You can see that I'm independent. I go do things, ain't no man paying for nothing. Ain't no daddy or mama paying for nothing. Ain't no government paying for nothing. It's me. And that's empowering, because what it tells me is that I can depend on self. So I'm not into this conversation where women are sitting here on TikTok, right? Desperate as hell, because that's what it is. You're a grown ass adult, baby. You don't like being independent, find a new career, homie. Because a man ain't the option. Finding a man to take care of you is not the option. I mean, it's an option for some women. Okay. But like I said, most women, like when you look at Russell Williams and Sierra had a career before Russell, whatever his last, I can't think of his last name right now, but y'all know what, Wilson. I was about to say Williams, all types of stuff. He had a career, she had a career before that man. So if he want to provide for her, he can. Like, she already had her own. This idea that when women are online pandering, it's the same thing like when women are talking about, oh, I'm so lonely, I just want some fill in the blanks on social media. It's the same shit. Like, if you really don't like your life like that, then that's cool. But as an independent woman, I'm proud of what I built. I'm proud of who I am. Ain't no man gonna make me feel bad. Ain't no amount of nothing gonna make me ever say I hate it here, because I know what it's like to be on the other side. I know that people are not dependable. I know that people lie. I know that people are deceitful and dishonest and will tell you whatever you want to hear just to, get what they want from you. And the moment they got it, now they gone. I don't like having to depend on people because people are not dependable. Do you understand? Now, some people you can depend on, but not for everything. I'm not going to put my life in the hands of somebody that would even want me to be fully dependent on them. That's almost like borderline abuse. Like if a man came up to you and told you, I want you to depend on me for everything, only, solely me. I don't know, man. That I would have to look at that man some type of way. Okay. Because obviously I appreciate you as my man, but I need girl time. I can't get that from no man. I can't depend on you for girl time. You are not a man. So if I had a man that was sitting here down talking my ability to be dependent, that's kind of scary, actually. And I'm not the woman that's going to pander to that. I'm not the woman that's going to sell myself short because I want a man today. So when women are going around talking about how, oh, it's so hard, being independent is just so tough, I'm tired of it, I feel like a man. How, Sway? If you dolling up every day and you getting dressed to look good every day, how is it that you feel like a man? And I know this ideology where men are going around saying, well, 9 times out of 10, you work for a man. And so that man is telling you what to think and how to thinketh, right? And so then you come home and you start acting like a man. First of all, if you're a single woman, why do you care what men think about what you do when you get home? Last time I checked, I paid the bills, right? So why do I give a fuck about what a man thinks is going on in my household that he don't pay no bills at, right? When I get off of work. That don't even make sense. Um, that don't even make sense, right? But this is what men have told me. And then what's even crazier is I probably talk to my male boss about maybe 2, 3 times, if that, a day. So I would say that it's safer to say that a lot of my thoughts are my own. My conclusions are my own. They don't come from necessarily a man. They come from me. It's bizarre to me how we will easily dismiss a woman who is independent. And women do it to themselves because they hear it so much. Oh, independent woman this, independent woman that. But at the same time, grown ass men are making songs in celebration of independent women. Let's be clear. Independent women are much more respected than I think what people think. And they're respected by certain echelons of men, not the ones that are trash, right? That's not who we're trying to impress, right? But certain men of a certain caliber respect women who are independent. They're not going to knock a woman who has her own. The fuck? That's good. Because that means if I exit the picture, you can take care of self and or my businesses. If I was to get sick, anything, I can trust you to be able to lead when I can. Millionaires and billionaires are not married to women. I keep telling y'all this. They're not married to women who don't got shit. They're married to women who have already built themselves. So, again, in my opinion, hang on. Sorry, y'all. I had to brush my teeth and I didn't want to necessarily have that on live. But what I'm saying is, it feels to me like, as a woman, right, who's independent, right? I've been in several stages of independence, right? I am, in some places, I would be considered middle class, but in some of these places where rent is super high, I am low middle class, right? So I just want to give that to you guys so you understand that I'm not where I want to be just yet, right? Again, if I was to move to a certain state, certain places, I'd be balling. But obviously, with the way the economy is set up, I still got some ways, okay, to go. Now, with that being said, I've been in different phases of independence. I've been broke, poor, and independent, right? And what I mean by that, I was living off the government. I had a Section 8 voucher, right? No skills, right? Barely able. I was fighting tooth and nail to get a raise every chance I got. I knew, because I have people who are, they're higher up in terms of like my family and stuff. Not everybody, but at that time, I had a lot of family members that didn't necessarily graduate from college, but they working for the government and they're doing well, right? And I didn't understand how come I wasn't, where I want to be or whatever. And so I ended up having to learn and ask questions. And one thing my daddy always taught me was that my net worth, my not my network is my net worth. My net worth is based upon what the previous employer paid me. Do you understand? And the economic value. So what I had to do was always leverage, right? I always had to leverage um the money I was currently making to try and get a raise at a new job, right? Now not so much. It just comes with the territory now. I mean, if you're gonna switch a job, you might as well get a raise. But at that time, when I had no skills, the intent was to find whatever job that could pay me more so that when I left, and at that time I wasn't staying at jobs as long as I've been now, right? I can go back to the new employer and say, hey, this is what my previous job was paying me, right? I need a raise. So, and it worked because obviously now I get paid well over, $20 an hour by a long shot. Um, but it took a lot to get there, is what essentially I'm saying. Okay. It took a lot. And I say this because a lot of people are independent, but they're not in a space. Sorry, y'all, I'm all out of breath. I don't know why, but they're not in a space where um, they're really financially independent. Like, what I mean by that is you're not financially stable. You may be independent, but you're not necessarily financially stable. They're kind of two different, in my opinion, they're two different things. Independence is your ability to take care of self and provide for self, but it doesn't necessarily equate to financial stability. You have to earn that. You have to work for that. So when you hear these women on TikTok talking about they don't like being independent, in my opinion, they just saying that, one, because they think that's going to make a man happy, right? And they going to find a man quicker than somebody like me, and they may, but they going to find a man that don't respect them, right? That don't value them, right? Who are quick to say, I don't want to date these broke hoes, right? Like, I'm just saying. A woman, and what I've always noticed growing up, women like me are actually more valued than I think than what women understand. And men won't say it because if you're dumb enough to fall for it and they can control you, then if you're dumb enough to give up your independence for a man, then he know he got you. Like, it ain't about love, it's about control. The fuck? Love ain't gonna tell you what you need to be doing. Nah. Love is patient, love is kind. It ain't controlling, you know. It wants to add to value to your life, not take it from you. So this idea, and I know that women say, well, men say they don't like independent women. Listen, men don't know what they want, bro. Y'all got to stop listening to men about what we think, what men say they want. Men don't know because they say a lot of things, but they actions scream something else. Okay, so you got to look at actions. Fuck what men say. Look at their actions. Look at who they support. Look at who they put their support behind. And you tell me if that's an all natural black girl, right? With no eyelashes, no weave, no makeup. Okay. I believe what people say. I mean, not say do. You don't listen to what men say. You listen to what they do. You watch their actions. So as women, you saying, I can't stand when women knock themselves down for the sake of somebody who don't give a fuck about them. That shit pisses me off. I don't understand women in that capacity. I'm a fucking woman. Like I said, I will always support women, period. Hands down. Not saying I can't support other people, but I'm a woman. I will never turn my back on women. That's crazy. So when women are talking about, I don't like being in a bitch, you're not independent. I mean, you are, but you broke. You struggling. If I had to catch the bus every day to work, right? Being independent, no car, right? Can't even get a car, don't know how to, right? I would be miserable too. Do you not know it's 95 degrees outside? I ain't trying to be walking to nobody's bus stop. The fuck? You know what I mean? So certain aspects of independence, when you first getting your foot in, it's gonna be a little rough. But that's because you're financially struggling. That has nothing to do with you being independent. Being independent is beautiful. Being independent, being able to get up and do what the fuck you want to do when you want to do it. Huh? There ain't nothing bad about that, bro. I like the fact that I can go to some of these family places, right? Where men are the sole providers, or they appear to be, because some of them ain't. It's just an appearance. And I'm a woman dropping just as much money as that man. That's powerful, bro. I don't care how you look at it. Do you know how many women wish they could be me? They wish they didn't have to have their husband pay for that spa, that they could have went on their own. Because there's a level of control that comes with the man paying. I don't need a man to approve whether I'm gonna go shopping today. If I want to go shopping, I can. See, but when you don't have money to do those extracurricular activities, it gets a little tough. You start to feel like, damn, I may need a partner. But this is why they say, you'll hear it all the time if you're in these spaces. Like Princella has said it. I've heard other people say it. But basically, people in relationships, a lot of times what happens is the financial aspect is what drives the purpose for a relationship. I know this sounds crazy. But when I was broke, that's when I sought out a relationship the most because I didn't have shit. And I was always worried about, well, what if? What if? So I need a partner because what if? Right? My ex-boyfriend, when he moved into his space, the first thing he said, are you scared to move? Because he was essentially about to ask me to move in. I didn't allow it to get to that point. But he wanted me to move in, not because he really wanted me to move in, but because he was afraid because he ain't paid rent. He didn't know. He thinking, damn, this rent's high. How can I pay it? That's why he came back to me. It was all about financial shit. And then realize that a woman like me ain't you gonna have to do a lot of extra stuff. Like, I ain't just about to move in with you, homie. I don't, You listen, some girls may do that when they don't have nothing. But like I told them, I'm getting my place. Oh, you getting your place? Oh, well, I need a woman that's gonna fit in with me. Okay, cool. Have fun with that. Meanwhile, I still got my place, you know? So I don't know, y'all. I think a lot of women that are saying they're tired of being independent are not really truly, like, they don't have a lot. And it's no shade, but like, or if they don't have a lot, If they have a lot, then they want a man. And they think that by saying that is gonna make them more attractive. And I'm just like, why women shit on themselves just to get a man? That shit's crazy. You will never hear me say I don't like being independent. Because what's the opposite of independence? Dependence. It ain't nothing more. I'm not a baby. I don't need to be no dependent on a man. I never want to go backwards into that space again because it's not fun. I've been there, done that. Not fun. Okay. I'm not gonna wait on no man to be able to provide me a lifestyle that I know I can instantly almost provide myself. Been there, done that. Okay. Do not willing to, ask him when I can shop. No, not happening. Okay. When I can spend my money, how I can spend my money. Nope. I'm not into all that. I've been there, done that. I did that shit at a very young age. I am not going backwards. So as a woman, you're shitting on yourself when you're sitting here talking about independence and that you don't like to be independent. That's you literally dogging yourself. That's crazy. And then for the ones that genuinely don't like it, it's because you don't have enough. You're independent, but you're like in the baby stages of independence. You don't make enough to really be able to enjoy independence. Again, I was independent on the bus. Was the bus fun? No. Was walking to the bus fun? No. Right? So independence, there's levels of independence. There's levels to the shit, bro. Just like you have these women on TikTok. Well, how during this economy, how are you guys able to have extra money and spend it on the things that you want? Like, these people are really on fucking TikTok crying about this shit, bro. And the only time I can really think that I was like that was when I was younger, when I was like 20, 21, 19, still trying to figure out my life, bro. So you can already tell this ain't necessarily a trend. Independent women who are really independent, who can really afford to take care of self, we ain't sitting here crying about, some are, but then you got to understand they're pandering to men too. Some women, just because you're independent don't mean you love yourself. So some women get lonely because this is a lonely journey. I don't know that I feel alone. I got people. So I don't know that I could feel lonely anymore. Like, I think that's more of, you kind of have to break yourself out of that shit. I don't necessarily get lonely. Okay. If I had to really be honest with myself, I used to, but I've been alone for 4 years. So in terms of like relationships, so I don't feel, oh, that's the wrong brush. Dang it. I don't feel like I'm lonely because I don't have a man, right? Because I have family, I got friends, I got colleagues. Like, I'm not really alone, if that makes sense. So it's hard to reflect and be like, I feel alone because I'm not alone. I feel lonely. I'm not alone. But a lot of women do feel like that. They get in this independent phase and they get to a point where they start to feel lonely. And so they say stupid shit like, well, I don't want to be independent no more. You'll never hear that shit come out of my mouth, bro. Never. Independence is a gift from God, bro. I don't care how you look at it, because your ability to be independent will always be there. Even if you get in a marriage, you know that you're not necessarily stuck in that marriage because you know how to take care of and provide for self. There's power in that. There's a lot of power in that. But what happens is women don't love self. So we get in this lonely phase and we start thinking, well, maybe the men are right. That's why I don't got a man, because I'm too independent. The fuck? How can you be too independent? Too independent is like a person coming in and offering you help, right? And you being like, nah, I got it. Even though you struggling to do it, right? That's different. That's interdependence. A lot of these men don't even have the finances to be able to come into your life and be like, here, I'm gonna help you out. Now, if a man comes into your life and he's like, look, I'm willing to help you out. I'm going to add a bunch of value to your life, build you up. That's different. And you say no. I mean, depends on the circumstance, right? But that's different. These men are not necessarily coming into your life talking about, I want to build you up. They already telling you they want to tear you down before they even get with you. So then you got these men saying, well, I don't date black women. So what the fuck are black women? Boy, let me, that's another conversation for another day. Okay. But I'm not pandering to no man. Okay. You don't exist in this realm. And it's not that I don't like men, right? But at the end of the day, I am an independent woman. I am proud of being independent. My goal is to be intra-dependent with somebody, but folks don't even know how to get to that level of conversation. We want to be dominant and take over and control, and you depend on me, and you don't even know how to work together for the sake of the, like, yeah, I want a partner, not a daddy. You understand me? So I'm a little different, right? I'm proud of being independent. I love the fact that I can get up and go do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want to go do it. I love the fact that I don't have to necessarily depend on the man to go do it. There's power in that. I love the fact that I was able to create something beautiful for myself. I tried to build with men. Men didn't want to build with me. Every time I tried to build with a man, he wasn't about that life. So I said, you know what? Fuck this, because I've been trying to do this. I'm not getting nowhere with it. Let me try doing it, building by myself. And y'all see what happened. So for me, I'm living proof that what I'm saying is true. That's why it's so hard for me to say, you know what, I want to date again. It was very hard for me to say, you know what, even though you're my ex and you did me wrong, I'm going to date you again. I'm going to give you that second chance. It was very hard because once he was gone, my life started skyrocketing. The same man that said, no, I don't want you to finance a car because I don't want you to have to pay those bills, but was not financing me a car. You understand me? So I tried. I just realized that I'm better at this shit. I'm faster, I'm quicker. You know, they say women, when you give them something, they multiply it. I think that's true for ourselves too. You give me a little bit of cash, I'm learning how to multiply that shit. I just think that's what it is. I just think women have that ability. Do all people do? Sure, but women definitely have that ability. We're known to have that ability. So fuck what these women are talking about. They're little girls. Grow up. Wait till you're about 30. You know, if you 20 something and you struggling with your independence, maybe it's time to get a skill set. Maybe it's time to get a career, right? These are things that you have to be willing to pivot on and shift on. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. I'm out. Peace.